welcome to Game Insider Presents GameChangers, Voices of the Industry, a series where we deep dive into the minds that are shaping the future of gaming, one idea, one innovation, and one story at a time. In every episode, we explore the journeys of people who are redefining what gaming means, not just as entertainment, but as a creative movement, a business, and a culture. Today's conversation is about art, the soul of every game, the invisible language that makes players feel, connect, and remember. And to explore that world, we are joined by someone who has spent his career bringing visual imagination to life. Somneel Saha, the founder of and CEO of CreateOn Games. Under his leadership, CreateOn has become one of India's most promising art studios, known for its craftsmanship, cross cultural storytelling, and its philosophy of Create On, a belief that creativity should never pause. From building his first studio, Codopoliz, to leading CreateOn's growth in a fast evolving global market, Somneel's journey represents the rise of Indian game art on the world stage. In this episode, we'll unpack what it takes to build a creative studio from scratch, how art defines the player experience, and why 2025 might just be the year Indian artistry in gaming gets the spotlight it deserves. Somneel, welcome to Game Changers. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Rocha. And thanks to Game Insider for considering me to be in this podcast. I would try to be more as much as informative I can be so that everybody can understand that what it takes to run a game art studio nowadays in India.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Somneel, you've been part of India's game art space for quite some time now, and your journey
Yeah.
from artist to founder, it's been incredible. What was the turning point that made you decide I'm going to start my own studio?
See, there's not a single turning point, if I be precise. My childhood journey has started being an independent artist. I have been doing commission work from my childhood for a long time with portrait commissions and stuff when there was not so much digital romanticism in art. It was only classical. So from that time, I have been doing this. And after that, I've been into corporate installations as well, where I worked with different teams. So from there, my habit of working with team and building a culture within a team has grown. And after that, then I found out that I was resisting with digital when the digital was starting to come into the market, digital art and stuff. I was resisting because I was very much from the physical background, the classic painting background and sculptures. But once I stepped my foot into this digital world, I felt every classical artist should explore digital as well, because this is nothing a barrier or it doesn't restrain you to anything. It gives you more scope to cultivate with your art and culture. So there the interest kept on growing. And then when I found out that game art being the most toughest and the most challenging in the art industry, I feel, because it's not an art which is just a static image. It's an art which people love it, hate it. They be a part of that character which you create.
Right.
They think themselves to be that protagonist and then they play. So it's very challenging. So then I thought, let's make up a team, because one individual sticks yourself to only a freelancer. You don't have ample of scope to work around. So, and we have a lot of scopes in Bengal for artists. Now we are not getting opportunities. Everybody is keeping outside Bengal. So somebody has to get rooted
Right.
to Bengal and try to bring in projects inside. So the another important point was giving opportunities to the Bengal artists, the newcomers and the next generations. So I started to plan that let's start up something from here and we'll work for abroad from Bengal itself.
Got
This
it.
is it.
Got it. That's amazing. And once the idea of CreateOn took shape, how did you turn it into a real functioning studio? Like, was there an early project that made you think, okay, this is really working?
Yeah, I have been working with gaming projects here and about, but particularly for this question, one project I have to mention which turned my journey around, that's Battle Legion. You will find that in the Play Store as well.
Right.
We took that project from our client, from Godspeed Games Collective S Groups.
Okay.
So when they came up to me for supporting the live ops art support for this game, so I started the journey with this. And this game, this journey, it uh, taught me many things. It taught me how I failed in the very first era and how I succeeded from the next era. Still, we are above working on this for the last few years. So Battle Legion is a game which made me feel, yes, this is working, and we will be working in game art.
Got it. Every founder has those unforgettable moments of chaos in the early days, right? What was your most startup madness story that you can now laugh about?
Yeah, lot of very good question. Lot of moments. You're just taking me to flashback.
Hmm.
When I was building this team,
Hmm.
and when you build a team, you don't build it with a lot of people all together. You build it one by one from scratch.
Right.
So obviously, if you can imagine, I was the only person there with maybe one or two another team members of mine. So that time I was working myself in hand. So I remember an incident that of this Battle Legion game only. I was supposed to work on a splash screen of a game. And because there was less manpower, I was working day night and I was working 48 hours at a stretch for that illustration. And me being a cross platform artist, my techniques were always very much aligned to canvas painting.
Hmm.
The brushing styles and stuff, everything was into canvas painting style. And I was still not aware what's coming.
Mm.
So I did the painting, and at that moment at midnight, around maybe 1:30 at midnight, I just shared it with my game producers. They were also working overnight. That time we had pressure. So instantly a message came back to me. What the hell is this?
Okay.
This is not what we want. This is not the style.
Mm.
That moment I sat blank for 5 minutes. I was rethinking, what am I doing? Am I doing something right, or I'm into the wrong track? I started questioning my skills because the artistic ego was coming on top at that time.
Right.
It happens with every one of us. So I had to put my artistic ego aside and think that what wrong did I do after working for plus 25 years in this art industry? Something is wrong. Why the other person on the other side of the table is not liking it? Then how will the community like it? So this was the moment which I always recall, and this was the moment which taught me how to deal with the gaming community. Two different categories of viewers are there. A canvas painter viewer community is different, a film community is different, and a gaming community is different.
Right.
So until and unless an artist understands the mindset of the gaming community, how good you are an artist, it doesn't align well. So that was the learning, and that was the point, the question which you asked, moment which makes me laugh. This was the moment, midnight at 1:30. I had a strong bashing with a strong negative message. But from there till today, I managed and I figured out what to do and what not to do. And for God's grace, I think everything is aligned now.
Right. Very interesting story actually. That's like a reality check in the early days itself.
Yeah.
Before CreateOn, you also co-founded Codopoliz and spent over a decade leading creative direction there. So, what lessons from that experience helped you build your current team and studio culture?
I would like to start the answering this question like this. I am a my degree. My degree is BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Okay.
I did painting in specialization and sculpture in the second paper. I have never done MBA.
Mm.
As people say, you have to learn, you have to go through MBA to learn what is business and stuff. I've never done that. But I'll say I have done MBA in real life. And that was pretty costly. It was pretty costly because I learned from my mistakes while running Codopoliz.
Mm.
And the key points which always remind me of running CreateOn Games now is, one is you believe in your instinct and you believe it's strong. Don't doubt it.
Mm.
Second one is believe in quality recruitment rather than quantity recruitment. When you are more younger in age, you are running a company, you are running the show as a leader, as a captain of the team, you always feel overwhelmed when you see the numbers of employees in front of you.
Right.
Wow, I have so many employees. Wow, 10 cross, 20 cross, 30 cross. One time it was there, I was around 40 employees and 50 employees in my team.
Mm.
I was getting overwhelmed that something is getting bigger, but I did not feel that it's not getting bigger. I'm doing something wrong.
Mm.
So you have to evaluate, you have to recruit. Quality recruitment is very important for making a team rather than quantity. This was one learning. And you should never be satisfied with what you are doing. You have 2 projects, 3 projects, 2 diversified clients. Don't stop. Don't get satisfied with that money or the invoices you're rolling with, because you don't know this too can go in the next month. So you have to have a loop. So
Right.
this was the biggest learning which I felt. And you build a community where you be me being being a founder who is who himself is an artist. I'm not a founder who has just invested in the company. I've crafted my company, handpicking each and one member of my team. So there I have to be very close to my team. I always stay very close to my team so that they have the confidence. So this was the biggest few points from my learning for the last decade of Codopoliz and now into CreateOn Games.
Right. That's amazing. It's a learning for us too, and I know most founders go through this. So I really like the point you made about quality recruitment than quantity. Let's talk about the name CreateOn Games. It sounds like both a statement and a mission. So how did it come about? And if you had to describe the studio's philosophy in just 3 words, what would that be?
Okay. So CreateOn Games, I have been named for because I was changing genres. I was into IT, corporate graphics and stuff.
Mhm.
We worked for brands like L'Oreal, Honor, Huawei and stuff. So we were to different field of design business. Now we are shifting completely into games. So the name Codopolis was not aligning much more because we are into more application based things. So I had to change. And now CreateOn Games, when I named CreateOn Games, one thing was very much clear when I was naming it, that it should focus on creativity, it should focus on craft, and it should focus on culture.
Mm.
These 3 things should be there in the name. And because this is the core essence of my team right now I'm working with. Creativity should be explored, craft should be built, and culture should be delivered.
Mm.
These 3 points, if you have in mind for a team like CreateOn Games, it's not a team like a production team, like a press where you do a lot of productions. We do productions in quality. Again, I'll say not in quantity.
Mm.
So that's why you have to keep these points in mind, that creativity, always you have to explore your creativity. You have to craft what you are building. It's a craft in front of you. So you have to nurture in that way. And obviously a culture. A culture means even if it's your client's job, you have to feel that it's mine. I'm not getting paid for that. Just
Mm.
I'm working as an artist. If you give me 1 rupee, I'll do the same job. If you give me 100 rupee, I'll do the same job. It's not about the value of the work. It's about the essence and the aesthetics of the work. Ultimately, we all are an artist.
Right.
So the 3 key words, if you say me, creativity, craft, and culture, I would like to
Got it.
state.
Yeah, got it. Uh, your work clearly values both artistry and efficiency. How do you balance the creative freedom of your artists with the production and commercial side of running a studio?
Yeah. Now, first of all, again, I would like to repeat that think it to be your own, first of all.
Mhm.
You have to think it to be your own. It's not a project which you're doing a service for another person. If you think like that, you cannot achieve that level. Now, what I always say to my team members, that you will have a lot of pressure within your pipeline. You have a timeline. There's a profit and loss related to it. in spite of that, you have to prioritize your work. You have to carve out time out of your office work, give space to yourself, and nurture your own passion. Because in this way, what you do, the best policy of dealing a client with the best of the work is you you create the baddest of the versions more in bulk. An artist in the world, the best, if you can name one single artist, the best artist, that artist also cannot create the best output in the first version. Artists, when they think they have something in mind, they start creating, they create all the bads within themselves, they put it out in the canvas. So the more you put out the bad things in the canvas, and you have those versions in thumbnails in front of you, and you don't spend much time within this, you be very quick with it, with rough sketches in a very low fidelity level. You do sketches of compositions, you have 15 like this thumbnails maybe in a short time. You leave the machine, come back after 15 minutes, look at those 15 bad thumbnails, you will find the best within it. One from here, one from there, one from there. The 16th one becomes the best. So you save time, you give a best output instead of trying it to nail it at once. All the artists who have tried to nail it at once, in my team also have seen, they cannot achieve it because they get overwhelmed. Don't do that. Do it in thumbnails. Break the process. You love the process, rather you love the achievement. The achievement comes through the process. So this is the main motivation which I always try to give it to my team members, and I also maintain that. That's it.
Very interesting. I've never heard this kind of an approach before. This is a very interesting approach. There's also a distinct sense of identity in your visuals, Somneel, like a mix of Indian inspiration and also a global polish. So how do you bring that cultural fusion into your art direction?
Yeah. See, what we do is when you're working as a service industry professional, you obviously have to get aligned with the concept which the clients want from you. And we are working for international IP, so we are always working for international stories. Now, but where are we from? Where is our origin as an artist? We are not just doing a job of a data entry. We are creating something every moment, every hour of our day. So in order to make your engine rolling, you always have to be in a practice of what? Practice of storytelling. I would like to mention one person's name in this. I love that person. I admire that person most. He's from the animation industry, a big shot from India, Mr. Suresh Idiot. He is the founder of Ixoros. Once we were in a panel together speaking, and after that he was giving a session. I was sitting in the front tier and listening to him. So he was telling that what's the best practice for storytelling. Mm-hmm. Most of the artists always say, I can draw well, but I don't know what to draw. You sit with the pencil and pen and you think, what's happening, what to draw. You don't have stories. Stories don't come like that way. You have to be in a habitat to do that. Every day he's telling what to do. Every day you get back home, you complete your day, you sit, have your dinner, have your notebook after the dinner, close your eyes, and the first thing which you remember from that day, the incident, jot it down. You means draw it down, sketch it. That sketch doesn't have to be very beautiful, and that doesn't demand appreciation from the market. That's a notation which you're keeping of your own visual library from daily routine. If you keep doing this every day, the best moment which comes into your mind, the first glimpse which comes into your mind, you just draw it and keep it. Maintain this for 6 months. Get back to the diary. It becomes a novel of your life. Yeah. The best moments of the last 6 months. And at the same time, it will enhance your brain cells. It will help you tell stories. So now you're telling me, being a service industry, working for others concepts, others thoughts, how do I maintain the Indian culture? Yeah. Because I always try to specify, when we work for our old projects, we keep the localization very importantly in mind. That our culture, we are from Bengal, our Bengal culture. There are a lot of folklores in Bengal. Talk about that. In my studio, we run the studio from Discord. We talk a lot. Apart from work, we talk a lot. We gossip about this story, that story. Somebody's grandmother told something old is back. Somebody's grandfather told something old is back. Note it down, note it down, note it down.
Yeah.
These stories will come up sometimes when we will create our own IPs. So this is the way we create the culture, and we sustain the culture in our studio.
And from your experience, Somnil, when clients collaborate with CreateOn, what tends to surprise them the most about your process or approach?
Okay. Now, the first important thing when you're into a service industry, you have to understand that when a client comes to you and they want to tell you something, that they need that. Before they tell you, you have to understand their need. They tell you 50%, you have to understand the 100% of it.
Mm.
Because in any service, why we pay somebody? Because we don't have that option to do that work, or we don't want to take the headache of that part. We are overwhelmed with something else. We are paying somebody to do the work. So we are also doing the same thing in art. So when we understand before what they say, and we can deliver that to them stress free, that is the point when I feel a client is most comfortable with you. So a bit sarcastically, if I say, I would like to quote this like this: whatever quotes and whatever invoices we quote to the client, more than that, I guarantee them a very good night's sleep, a very good sound sleep for the clients in the art part, because I want them to give me the job and they go to sleep. I'll come back to them with everything done, which they never thought. We'll do that process as well for them. So I think my clients have been giving me testimonials as well. I was always asking them, I keep on asking them that if you find something wrong, please tell me. I have to rectify that. So they come up with one common thing, that Somnil, the time and the time bound and the effort which you give, thinking about the project extra than we think, this is what makes us more comfortable to work with you. So I feel this is the thing of CreateOn Games, that we promise a good night's sleep for our clients.
Right.
That's
That's a very thoughtful approach. Like it's clear that the collaboration is just, it's not just part of your process, it's part of your DNA, right? You sleeping with it,
Yep.
waking up with it. Yeah. So you describe yourself as a game art enthusiast. What does that look like in your everyday life as a CEO? Do you still find time to create yourself, build something by yourself?
Yeah, I do, because if I feel if the passion is real,
Mm-hmm.
you carve out a way to sustain it.
Right.
I know I'm now more into operational parts than being an artist working in hand, but I always try to stick to my team apart from my operational liabilities. If they stay for 10 hours in Discord, I stay for 12 hours.
Mm.
I'm very close to production. In spite of my several calls, I keep on looking into streamings of my artists, what they're doing. I review them every day, because in that way, I can learn a lot from this team members of mine, because my average age of my team members are 25. They're very young.
Yeah.
So they have lots to teach, because they think in a different way from our generation. So I every day learn from how they deal with the problems and how they carve out solutions. So I'm always within their art. And aside of that, I have my iPad. I Whenever I'm into a call, my hand stays below and I just keep scribbling. So I always do stuffs, and I try to keep rolling, because once you go away from it, your brain stops thinking. So being a technical owner of the company,
Mm.
I need to be aligned with my skills and my thoughts and storytelling. So yes, I do find out a lot of time in spite of my schedule, that I can work something for myself.
That's great to know. Okay, in your view, Somnil, what makes truly great game art timeless? Like the kind of art that stays iconic even decades later.
First of all, understanding the community needs is very important. Now, you have to understand the target audience of your game. That what's the age persona? What's the nationality persona? What's the uh, what's the cultural persona of that group? You have to understand that. Then the style which you select for a game. There are thousands of styles of games. That style should narrate the game.
Mm.
The style should have its own story. For example, if I be a very, very clear about it, I prefer if you paint something on a canvas, the painting shouldn't be like that, that me being an artist have to stand beside that canvas and tell all the viewers that this is what I meant.
Yeah.
The viewers should create a story by their own. Maybe all the stories are different, but they can interact with your painting and they can create their own story.
Got it.
Somewhere or the other, you will feel that they are aligning to your core story only because you are the pilot of that plane where you're taking your viewers into your painting.
Mm.
So we have this Fibonacci series and stuff and all formulas how to make your viewers' eyes float around the paintings and stuff. So these things, there are technical things also in this, but to make an art which will live long, this is the only formula. And this is not only for an art or a painting. Art means it can be a song, it can be a film, it can be dance, it can be everything. If you still remember from that age, maybe you are not there. You were not born.
Yeah.
You still love few songs which you still listen. So the mood of that song is so beautiful that mood is static, right? Mood is for everybody. Everybody will have different moods. So that song fits in moods of any generation.
Mm.
So that's the sustainability. So storytelling, narratives is the most important thing, which keeps an art alive lifelong. For example, if I say, I would like to mention some games like Monument Valley, like Bendy and the Ink Machine, like What Remains of Edith Finch. This type of games, I feel this will be lifelong. This will be lifelong. So the journey goes. It's a sort of graphic novel, sort of picturization with a 3D environment. Beautiful game. So storytelling and narration is most important for an art style to sustain for life.
Got it. Definitely going to check those games out immediately after the call, I think.
Sure.
So, Somnil, you've seen this evolution firsthand from 2D sprites to hyperreal 3D. Which art style do you think is due for a big comeback in the next few years?
Yeah, very good question. And if you study the film flow, animation films flow also, you see that before the movie Spider-Verse, there was a trend of everywhere people were romanticizing only Disney and Pixar style. Everywhere it was that style of movies and things coming. Spider-Verse was something which changed the track. They brought a style where you do the things in 3D, but the shaders have changed. It's more 2D aligned. You have sketchy comic book lines into the 3D shaders. It was mesmerizing. It was beautiful how they did it. So I would like to mention one game. I think for the next, from 2025 to the next decade, maybe, this can be the style explored by the artists. That is, if you have heard of the name Hades 2.
Yeah.
Recently, the game will be launched. They're not into that phase yet. They're launching it. It's a game by Supergiant Games. They have done a beautiful job. It's all hand-drawn animations. And if you see their art style, it's more shape pushed. For example, if you have a figure which has got its own anatomy, we all know the correct anatomy. But when you push those anatomy, you make it more robust, you make it more shape pushed, and you create more 2D style paints and sketches and edgy lines to it. Then comes the real exploration of art.
Also, if you could completely redesign the art of any famous game, which one would you pick and what would you do differently?
Very interesting question. Tough to answer. Thousands of games coming into my mind, but if I say Batman, Batman is a character which has been nurtured always in every era. Everybody loves Batman. And I would like to mention my team lead's name over here, Shogoto. So I was talking to him related to this type of discussion one day, that if we would do something like this, what we would do. So what, after researching and seeing things, we saw that Batman has been evolved in time to time in games. When we were very young, we were kids. You remember we had a box which was attached with a television, and you have a cassette to play on top of it, put it inside like a cartridge, and then you play with joysticks. Like we played Contra and
I
Mario over there.
yes.
So that time there was a Batman game as well, and it was by Rocksteady. It was the Arkham Knight Batman style. That was a game. And now recently a game came up, which is still coming, that is Replaced in the name of. It's a pixel art game. It's a 3D pixel art game. We were mesmerized by the treatment they have done. So we felt if we could do that Batman from Arkham Knight to the style of Replaced, which is done by the Satcat Studios, the development. So I think we would be pretty happy if either we do it or either somebody does it. We see it, we feel it.
Got it. Got it. Interesting. Okay, another fun one. Like, what's your guilty pleasure creative tool or technique that you use way more than you admit?
Okay, guilt pleasure. Another question which you have to choose what you answer in this, but I would say this is only for me, right? Not for everybody.
No, only for you. Yes.
I am from classic background and now I'm into digital. Yeah, there is a guilt pleasure. Like when I create something in iPad, in Procreate or in Photoshop, I love to do that because there are a lot of options to do it, right? You have a lot of helping tools which helps you create the art. And it saves time and it escalates your creativity as well, no doubtedly. But being a classic artist, at my young age of the career, when I used to create a canvas with my hand, you won't relate to this term much. Gesso. We used to create a canvas in a process called gesso.
Okay.
Used to code that. It would take a week to create a proper canvas, which will be lifelong preserved. And then you paint on that. You have done one mistake. To reverse that mistake, you don't have any undo button. You don't have the Control Z. You have to go through that organic process and again you have to create it properly. So it's a very hardship which you have to face. Now, being from that background, when I'm doing something digital, I'm loving it. But I'm always having a guilt pressure. No. The real artists do it in canvas like this. That nostalgia of doing it in canvas, that is something else, but this is something else. But I don't think this should sustain. This is something for artists like us who have been into that generation, who are being into this generation also. That's why this is a guilt feeling as well as I'm loving to do it. And I will say, do it. All artists should again come to digital and explore more rather than staying back into old forms, because then you don't expand.
Right.
You have to expand for creativity.
So adding on to that, like how do you see now with AI, how do you, how do art professionals go ahead in the years to come?
AI, yeah. I will say AI gives you have to use AI sometimes when you're into a service industry
Mm,
because clients have requirements.
mm,
But there are two answers for this because me being as an artist, I don't prefer AI.
mm,
Me being as a mentor to the students, I never prefer AI.
mm.
Because in your learning phase, if you are into AI, your thought process, your brain cells have gone dead.
Right.
You don't grow. First you learn how to make, then you learn how to break. Initially what's happening now with the generation, they're starting to learn break first, not make it. First you make it. Have that journey of learning how to create.
Mm,
Then you take the help. So a professional from a service industry saving time, meeting the requirements of the client, it's okay. But otherwise, in the learning phase, don't do it. As an artist, individually, don't do it.
got it.
Because in one word, if I quote you, what's gonna happen in the next years for this AI in game industry? It will be only about mediocrity.
Mm,
It will increase mediocrity. Everyone using AI because see, AI has no brain, right?
mm.
What AI does, whatever you feed them, it will give you answers on those datas. From the neural net, whatever is there in the neural net, he'll take that. He won't create something. He'll
Right.
jumble up something and give you in a box. So that means everybody doing that and he's doing the same thing for everybody. So mediocrity is the only word I feel will
Mm,
be everywhere. And this is not good for art. This is not good for human habits as an artist. You will be depressed one day because whatever you create, that is being taken. Whatever is created by somebody, you are taking that. What you're doing, you're not creating anything. You're creating a mixed bag of things created by somebody else. Where is your own thought process? So this is I may be it 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 may seem like I'm a bit harsh with AI. I'm not. You cannot resist that. When computer came, people resisted, but they aligned to it. Like here, you cannot resist AI. You have to align somewhere. But when you're on your own as an artist, put the AI aside, sit naked with your thoughts and work.
Is there anything that people misunderstand about being a game art professional?
This I should state and to everybody, not from game art fraternity.
Mm,
While I recruit, I feel this a lot. Even if you're a good painter or a good sketcher, whatever you can call yourself as, don't take it as granted that you can be into the game industry.
mm,
It's not like that. You have to love games. You have to love playing games. Then only you can set yourself into the game industry. Again, I will mention this point. I mentioned this before also in another question that game art is not a static art. Game art is alive. It lives.
yeah.
We give birth to a game art. The gamers give rebirth to the game art by playing with that art.
Mm,
So it's not a one button game that you play and pause. In films, what do? You play and pause. The movie ends, your popcorn bucket ends, you you leave the chair, you go out, you criticize or you love it. That's it.
yeah.
In game, it's not like that. You take that protagonist character, you make it yourself, you choose the avatar of that character, you play with that. That is what you're doing. You're making that character alive with your two hands, with your cognitive skills, you're playing with it. You're solving the hurdles. That means you are into that game. So you have to be in love with game. You have to play games. In my studio, everyone plays a lot of games. We in fact we have a time every Friday in the evening time before closing. We play games together.
Mm,
It's a group activity. We talk about new games. which is coming into the market, why they have done this, why they have done that. We edit those games, we unwrap those games. This is a culture you have to prevail if you are a game art professional. So misconception, knowing art, you can do anything in game industry, wrong. You have to be from this fraternity, you have to love games, play games, at the same time grow your art skills as well.
Right. Would you like to mention any games that you play, by yourself or with your team as well?
Yeah, definitely I would. The two games which come into my mind which always makes me feel better, that is Monument Valley and Fortnite. Because these two games, another game I would like to mention, it's not a game being game. One game I should mention over here, that I love to fight with my son.
Okay.
Every day after my office hours, however busy I am, I go upstairs, I fight with him for 15 minutes. It rejuvenates me. I'm never bored. So that's a game. I can be
Yeah, of course.
very connected with him. So this is a game for me, the real life game. And the game being game, Monument Valley and Fortnite, obviously I love, because if you go and see after this podcast what I'm talking about, Monument Valley, how the game is, trust me, you will call me back and tell me, Somneel, this one game, this is like a meditational therapy to me. Please play Monument Valley and see once. The design style, the music, the noise within it, and the simplicity of that character, you will be mesmerized with it. And at the same time, you'll be solving the problems by moving the architectures and opening your path. You'll be hooked to it. Whenever you will be sad, you'll go back to that game and play. You will forget that. This is a therapy, I'm telling you. Monument Valley is a therapy. So this is one game. Another game is Fortnite. Why I play Fortnite? Because these guys have the largest amount of collaboration.
Before we close, Somnil, just a last few questions. So, India's gaming industry is growing faster than ever right now. So, looking at the broader picture, where do you see the biggest opportunity for homegrown studios like CreateOn to shine globally?
Yeah. See, we were always called as a service country, right? India gives the largest amount of service in every industry. Everybody is skilled, but making more products, no. Giving service to products, yes. So we have explored that part, but I feel studios like us, I call my studio as an indie studio, because my studio is not a strength of 150 artists or members. I don't want to be that as well. I want to be within a cap, because it's a more aligning to an European style of studios, that you stay with a needed number of artists, handpicked by yourself, trained within the culture, and it's your extended family. So studios like me, I think there's a long void yet. Creating your own IPs. India is not creating so much IPs. We need to create more IPs.
Definitely.
IPs of our own. IPs which are going to tell us stories.
Yeah.
Apex Legend doesn't tell Indian stories, right? Fortnite doesn't tell Indian stories. PUBG doesn't tell an Indian story.
Yeah.
We need games like I would like to mention Razi. Razi has done pretty well in the market. I have met the makers as well. They were into tremendous struggle while making the game, because people over here are not so much aligned to invest in this type of games. So they fear about getting back the money. So one thing is, mindset has to change, and companies like us, studios like us, should make our own IPs, telling our own stories. Because if Ubisoft, being an international IP from outside, from our studio, making an IP like Beyond Good and Evil 2, if you see over there, they have used a lot of South Indian temples. They have a huge Ganesha sculpture standing. They are exploring our cultures. Why not we are exploring it?
Yeah.
Bahubali has taken a super notch step. Everybody knows the eternal story of Bahubali is coming. They have released the trailer recently. Now, now this is, yeah, Bahubali can be a superhero character like Superman, Indian Superman,
Yeah.
maybe Indian Batman. There are a lot of characters we have within our mythology. Let's nurture that, and I feel our studios like us, if they nurture this more, they have a platform globally with a good IP of their own.
Awesome. Yes, totally with you on that thought. Before we wrap up, can you complete this sentence for me? Building a game studio in India in 2025 feels like what?
Okay, building a game studio in India in 2025 feels like. Should I answer it in one word or I break it up?
You can break it up.
Let me break it up, then I'll give you the one word
Okay.
last. First is ambitious.
Hmm.
Second is challenging.
Mhm.
Then is passionate.
Right.
Combine these three. Clear, straightforward answer, tough.
Hmm.
Those are all sugar coated words which I have used in front of you. Pull out the sugar. The word is tough
Yeah.
because it's challenging. I'll tell you one example of one of my employee. He was telling a story to me one day. That, sir, I went to my friend's house. I was sitting and chatting with him. Suddenly his father came, entered the room, and started asking, like everybody asks, what are you doing right now? What's the status of your career right now? So he said, I'm working in a gaming company and I'm doing art for games. The first reaction of that parent was, okay, gambling.
Hmm.
Oh, you're into gambling. This is a problem. This is a problem with Indian community. Gaming is not gambling. Gaming is not only real money gaming. Gaming is much more beyond that.
Hmm.
Gaming is a therapy of your life. Gaming doesn't mean that you are spending bad time, you are spoiling time. No. You play games, you rejuvenate your brain,
Hmm.
you start thinking more. So, until unless this happens, studios like us will struggle. So, that's why I said it's tough because you don't get investment, you don't get artists aligned with game industry because they have a bad notion about it. But it's not at all like that. It's one of the most challenging and one of the most skilled industry, I would say. I've been into several industries in art. I've been into window displays for corporates. I've been theme maker for Durga Puja pandals in Kolkata for many years. One of my installation is still installed permanently in West Bengal architecture. So I've been doing a lot of things. I've been doing commission works. I've been doing export works of cottage industry artifacts to Washington DC. So I've seen a lot of phases of art. Now into game when I'm in right now, I'll say this is one of the most challenging, most educated, and most skill demanding. So one word again, it's tough.
Yeah, totally agree with you. So, all right. So, such a powerful way to end, Somnil. And honestly, it captures what so many creative founders in India are feeling right now. Your story reflects something deeper than just running a studio. It's about creating opportunities where there weren't any, blending culture with creativity, and showing that Indian game art can be both globally relevant and uniquely ours at the same time. At Game Insider, that's exactly why we started GameChangers. It's to celebrate voices like yours, the builders, the storytellers, the risk takers who are defining what the gaming ecosystem in India will look like for the next generation. So, for everyone listening, if you've ever dreamed of turning your creativity into a career, or of seeing your art, design, or storytelling come alive in a game, I hope this episode reminds you that there is a place for you in this industry. Go check out CreateOn Games and the incredible work they're doing in art, design, and game production. We'll see what happens when passion meets precision and imagination meets purpose. This was Game Insider Presents Game Changers, Voices of the Industry. Stay tuned for more conversations with the visionaries shaping the next chapter of gaming right here at Game Insider. Thank you, Somnan, for joining us today and giving us your time. Really means a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much for calling me over here. Thank you very much for listening to me. And I hope I have been that much knowledge sharing I could have done to everybody. And if anybody wants to contact me, please do. I'm ready to help anybody, any young comers into this industry. Don't hesitate to do that. Thank you very much.
Totally. Thank you so much. It was very, very valuable listening to all of your insights, and I'm sure all the listeners are going to, benefit from this. Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you.